What's up, Ryker owners? Brandon here with Slingmods.com, and today we're happy to introduce our Gen 2 forward reverse jockey shifter for the Can-Am Ryker and Ryker Rally. If you've been following along with our channel, then you know that we launched our first generation jockey shifter in early 2021. Now, even though that product was wildly popular, we received a ton of feedback from you guys on how that product could be improved. So we passed that feedback on to the manufacturer, and today we're extremely excited to introduce our second generation jockey shifter that's got some really cool features and upgrades. Now, if you're unfamiliar with what a jockey shifter is, it's a vintage style hand shifter that was really popular in motorcycles from the turn of the 20th century through the 40s and 50s, and can still be found on some modern retro style custom motorcycles and choppers. Now with the Ryker, we don't have to worry about banging through the gears because of the CVT transmission. But if you own a Ryker, you know firsthand that the factory shift lever has kind of an awkward angle of engagement and isn't really that easy to use. You're either fumbling around with your foot to get it into reverse, or getting into a yoga stretch to find reverse by hand. Oh, and good luck trying to find neutral. Our Gen 2 jockey shifter, however, not only looks freaking awesome, but also puts the forward reverse lever functionality right in the palm of your hand, so that when you arrive at your destination, backing into your spot couldn't be easier. Now, let's go over some of the features and upgrades on our Gen 2 jockey shifter. The Gen 2 jockey shifter bar is made from solid laser cut steel and is precision bent to hug the contours of the Ryker body panels, while allowing for compatibility with the Hypnotic Concepts left-hand side drink holder. It features a fully revised shift linkage system that utilizes ball joints on both ends of the shift linkage, allowing for super smooth shifting. At the base of the shifter bar, we have a revised collar bracket design that allows you the flexibility to adjust the outward pitch of the shifter bar to maximize leg clearance, so you can find the position that best fits you. Up top, the jockey shifter features a floating shift ball design that includes a 2-inch round shift knob that flows nicely with the kit. But for those of you that want to take things up a notch, the included shift knob is easily removable in case you want to swap it out for something a bit more custom. Now, if you plan on swapping out your shift knob, you'll want to make sure you find a shift knob that matches the thread and pitch of the hex bolt included with the kit, which I'll put right here so you can write it down. Now, if you can't find an aftermarket shift knob that matches the thread and pitch of the hex bolt included with the kit, you can always swap out the hex bolt entirely to a bolt with an entirely different thread and pitch, opening up to endless aftermarket shift knob options. Now, the guys over at Trickline and Savage Products teamed up to design this jockey shifter kit in all black so that it flows nicely with the Ryker body panels. And for those of you that love lighting or like to attend bike nights, one of our favorite things about this new Gen 2 jockey shifter is that it was designed with an outside edge so you can do this. Our optional remote-controlled LED Saber kit offers a slew of different lighting features to bring your jockey shifter to life. We'll be going over all the lighting features and remote control functionality a bit later in the video. So let's get started. Start by threading one of the ball joints onto the threaded rod. Add the linkage tube. And then thread on the other ball joint so that it's nice and tight. Next, lift off your hood. And pull out on this top right corner of this panel here, so they can pop off this push pin underneath, followed by these other 2 push pins under the frame, so they can carefully pull this panel straight out and off, and cut off this zip tie. Now carefully pull the brake line and wire harness away from the frame bar, just enough to slide the collar bracket in between. Then add one of the Allen head bolts to the second hole from the top, followed by the aluminum spacer. Then add the other collar bracket, and top it off with the washer and nut. Next, add the other Allen head bolt through both bottom holes of the collar brackets, and then add a washer and nut to the end. Now snug those down just a little bit, but make sure it's still loose enough so you can move it around on the frame bar. Next, use a T30 Torx to remove the screw on the end of your shift lever, so that you can use the new longer button head Torx screw to attach the linkage we assembled earlier. Tightening it all the way down so that it's nice and snug. Then take your new shift lever with the plastic washer and add it to the collar bracket, the large Allen head bolt through the collar bracket, washer, and lever, before adding another plastic washer, sliding the bolt the rest of the way through the other collar bracket on the other side, adding the large nylon nut to the end, and tightening it down so that it's nice and snug, making sure not to over tighten. Now you can add the last Allen head bolt to the other end of the linkage, and then slide it into the hole on your new shift lever, adding a washer and nut to the end and tightening it down so that it's nice and snug, making sure not to over tighten. Next, take the large black hex bolt and slide it into the opening at the top of your shift lever, add a flat washer, and then the lock washer, before threading on your shifter ball, tightening it down so that it's nice and snug, making sure not to over tighten. Now loosen your collar bolts a little so you can adjust the positioning of your lever to where you want it. And then once you have it where you like it, tighten those collar bracket bolts down the rest of the way, making sure not to over tighten. Now for those of you that purchased the optional LED add-on, you'd simply clean the outside edge of your shift lever and let that sit for a minute to dry, before test fitting your LED strip so that the wire is at the bottom of the lever. Then, starting with the top of the lever, peel off a small section of the protective backing tape, and then press down firmly to adhere into place, peeling back small sections of backing tape as you go. And then plug the module box into the LED strip. Next, you can unscrew and remove the black negative battery terminal, followed by the red positive battery terminal. So that you can take the new power harness from the kit and attach the red wire to the red positive battery terminal. And then the black wire to the black negative battery terminal. Next, be sure to add a little dielectric grease to the ends of the wire extension included in the kit, before attaching that wire extension to the power harness. And then run that extension along the existing wire harness already on the bike, back and down to the module box we connected earlier.
making sure that your wiring and module box are a safe distance away from any hot engine components, and that your wiring is zip tied up and out of the way of any and all moving parts. And then add one more zip tie to the base of the shift lever to hold the LED wire in place, making sure you've allowed enough slack on your wiring harness to allow for full articulation of the shift lever in both the forward and reverse positions. Before reinstalling your body panels in the reverse order you remove them. To turn on your LEDs, press the A button. Then, to cycle through all the different light sequences, press the A button again. And if you want to go back to the previous light sequence, press the B button. Now the speed of the sequences can be controlled by pressing the C button. And then to turn them all off, press the D button.
And there you have it, folks. So if rocking a vintage throwback jockey shifter that looks great and makes shifting from forward to reverse an enjoyable experience, then be sure to head on over to slingmods.com today or click the link in the description below to grab one for your Ryker. And don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and hit that notification bell so I can keep you up to date on everything Ryker. I'm Brandon, signing out. Till next time.